Arcadian Vanguard presents the Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Sunday, May 12th, 2024. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with last night's live Collision and Rampage broadcast back-to-back on TNT from Rogers Place in Vancouver, British Columbia. In the main event of Collision, Adam Copeland retained the TNT Championship with a win over Kyle O'Reilly. In the opener, Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli bested Top Flight. AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland took out Brian Cage in the Gates of Agony during an in-ring promo segment.
Oh, look at this! From behind! Strickland with a chain! And now Brian Cage is well on the receiving end. Oh, but he's got caught! Strickland taking matters into his own hands! House call! Oh! Swerve Strickland comes for revenge!
In other results, Dax Harwood defeated Tommy Billington, the nephew of the Dynamite Kid. Thunder Rosa scored a quick win over Robin Renegade, and Will Ospreay beat Lee Moriarty. Ospreay was attacked by Shane Taylor and international champion Roderick Strong after the match. In the main event of Rampage, Pac defeated Johnny TV via submission. In other Rampage matches that followed Collision, Brian Keith pinned JD Drake. Trent Beretta topped Dalton Castle by submission, and Deonna Purrazzo went over Lady Frost. Following the match, Purrazzo was chased from the ring by a chair-wielding Thunder Rosa. WWE was in Chattanooga, Tennessee last night for a Super Show live event. Included in the show were first-round matches in the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring tournaments, with LA Knight defeating Santos Escobar and Tiffany Stratton defeating Michin to both advance. In rematches from Backlash, Cody Rhodes retained the undisputed WWE Championship against AJ Styles, and Damian Priest retained the World Heavyweight title against Jey Uso. In Tag Team Championship action, WWE Tag Team Champs Austin Theory and Grayson Waller retained against DIY, and World Tag Team Champions R-Truth and The Miz defeated Finn Balor and JD McDonough. In other results, WWE Women's Champion Bayley teamed with Jade Cargill to defeat Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane, and Liv Morgan beat Nia Jax in a street fight. In corporate news, WWE released 2 long-running employees yesterday, according to Fightful Select. One was Senior Director of TV Event Relations Steve Rubin, who had been with the company for 26 years. The other was Vice President of International Events Michael Levin, who had worked out of the London office for 7 years. Turning to Japan, New Japan Pro Wrestling presented NJPW Strong Resurgence on Saturday night from the Toyota Arena in Ontario, California. In the main event, Jon Moxley retained the IWGP World Heavyweight title for the 3rd time by downing the challenge of Shota Umino in 34 minutes and 18 seconds. Following the match, Moxley was attacked by Evil and Ren Narita, who also spray-painted the championship belt black. 2 titles changed hands on last night's show. Gabe Kidd won the Strong Openweight title, defeating Eddie Kingston in a no-ropes last man standing match. Following the match, Kingston was attacked by both Jack Perry and the Young Bucks, who laid Kingston out with an EVP trigger. Meanwhile, Hikuleo and El Phantasmo knocked off Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols to regain the Strong Openweight Tag Team title. In championship retentions, Stephanie Vaquer held on to the Strong Women's title by turning back the challenge of Alex Windsor. Jeff Cobb beat Lance Archer to retain the New Japan World Television title, and Shingo Takagi topped Yuya Uemura to keep the Never Openweight title. During the show, it was also announced that New Japan and CMLL will be co-promoting a Lucha Libre-themed Fantastica Mania event in San Jose, California this coming July 13th. New Japan also presented the first night of the 34th annual Best of the Super Juniors tournament yesterday in Chiba. Victorious in Block A matches were Titan, Kevin Knight, Blake Christian, Kosei Fujita, and Hayata. Victorious in Block B matches were Kushida, Taiji Ishimori, Sho, Ninja Mac, and Francesco Akira. Night 2 of the tournament is scheduled for tomorrow in Tokyo, with the finals to be held on June 3rd. And we close with Major League Wrestling, who presented as Azteca Lucha from Cicero Stadium in Cicero, Illinois on Saturday. In the main event, Místico retained the MLW World Middleweight title for the second time by turning back the challenge of Barbaro Cavernario. 2 other championships did change hands as Bad Dude Tito put down Ricky Shane Page to win the MLW National Openweight title, and the team of Satoshi Kojima and Okamura knocked off Matthew Justice and Manders to win the vacant MLW World Tag Team title. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.